They say that you are not doing traditional motif. You're destroying the culture. You're destroying the craft. I don't think so.
This week, we're in Kuala Lumpur with a designer who doesn't just make clothes, she weaves culture, heritage, and identity into every stitch. Melinda Looi is one of Malaysia's most iconic fashion designers, multi-award-winning creator, entrepreneur, cultural ambassador, and a bold champion of tradition reimagined.
When I step into the fashion world, I do not set a goal to tell myself, hey, I want to be the best in Asia, or I want to be the best in Malaysia. You just wax saja.
How you rallied the whole community to contribute in these critical moments have not only saved thousands of lives, but have propped up a healthcare system that was in dire need of your support.
I'm really, truly grateful to be recognized. I think it's very important for mixed culture kids. I think they should learn both sides of the culture. And sometimes I was like asking, some of my, no offense, but some other culture friends, the kids, they speak fluent English, but not even a single word in their own culture.
In this episode of The Hungry Immigrant, we talk about food memories and fashion as cultural identity, about why passing on language and traditions matter, how Chinese new dishes carry hidden meanings, and how a couture gown started off as a child's doodle. It's a story of creativity without borders, of heritage made modern. And so today we have the pleasure of being with a fashion designer in Malaysia who is so iconic. I cannot name all the awards that she's won, but I think one of the things that is really remarkable, and this is one of the first fashion designers I thought about when I was thinking about my show, was this person, because I think if anything, she has won the hearts of the Malaysians. She represents our culture, and she's so proud of our culture in her designs. And like her hair, she's unapologetic about it, I think. So we have Melinda Looi. Welcome, Miss Melinda Looi.
Hello, Abang Brian. Yes, I'm Melinda Looi.
And you guys have to check out the video on YouTube because she's here with her own piece.
Representing Malaysia. It's batik and tenun, and then I have everything on me. Yes. So it's like a Mandarin collar, quite a big samfu kind of style. Even the trousers is very traditional, loose, palazzo kind of pants.
This is what happens when you invite fashion designers. When I invite chefs, the first thing they ask me is, oh, so what do I need to cook? And I say, no, this is a podcast where we're going to talk about culture and food. And when you invite fashion designers, they'll be like, okay, what should I wear?
What should I wear?
Say, Mel, just wear whatever that makes you feel comfortable.
A lot of time they give us a guideline. They say, avoid this color because the background is this color. Avoid that, and this. I'm like, okay, so it's good to ask.
Yeah, but what she's wearing she is underselling herself because it's an epitome of what Malaysia is. A combination of the cultures that we have, which is like the tenun, which is like, I would say embroidery kind of thing.
So it's all hand woven.
And that's more Malay.
Well, yes, it's not just the Malay. I think in Malaysia we have such a rich, craftsman's background. We have a lot of artisans who are weaving away all kinds of material, not only songket, tenun, as well as ikat, by the Iban, and also other culture.
Yeah. So we have a lot of hand-woven stuff, and then there's that design of the Chinese. So it's really, she's trying to put everything into one.
Yes,
and you've got to show this off. She's got a mahjong necklace piece that is shining. I was like, oh my God, what?
It's representing my background, right?
Yeah.
I don't play mahjong. I wish to play. I just never get a chance to really learn properly. I never had patience for games.
Yeah.
So I grew up as a child laborer. So in my mom's factory.
Okay, and she was also,
Fashion.
Fashion also.
My dad does pleating.
Right.
Did pleating. He passed away. And my brother took over, and my mom is still running her factories, doing manufacturing and stuff.
So we roughly know, if anyone still does not know who Melinda Looi, just Google her. Just go Google her and everything.
You see the crazy hair first.
Yeah. So the crazy hair is there. Everything else is there, but
And she loves cooking though.
She loves cooking. I know that she loves cooking.
I told myself, I say, okay, if I'm not a fashion designer, I will be a chef.
Yeah, you should do that.
Luckily, I'm not in there because otherwise you are my competitor.
I would be out of a job. So tell us, besides the fashion designer, besides the entrepreneur, besides the unapologetic, proud person that you are of your culture, Tell us, who is Melinda Looi culturally? Like, how did you grow up? Tell us about your early childhood memories and how was your food memories like?
I grew up in a very traditional Chinese family. Basically grew up, eating all kinds of Chinese food, right? And celebrating all the festivals.
First generation immigrant or second?
No, we are third. My grandfather on my mom's side and my father's side, I think both came from China.
So you're Chinese Malaysian, but third generation.
We are Cantonese, both sides Cantonese background. It's very important. We have the soup every day and we have a reunion dinner and, all this stuff. I love it. I enjoyed it a lot. And being in Malaysia, you are surrounded by all kinds of festivals and, different cultures. I think we celebrate everything. So I think it helps us to be inspired and we are so colorful, not only in everything, but also our food, so much flavor and so on. So we kind of like mix everything together.
Tell me about your favorite food growing up, like your fondest memory of growing up.
I think my grandma's, maternal grandma's soup, they were the best. She was cooking with charcoal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Claypot, for hours. It just inspired me. And I bought a Claypot, but I haven't really officially cook it all the time. But I did once.
Did you use charcoal?
I use charcoal. I use the Claypot. But somehow the quality of those Claypot is not the same anymore. They crack easily. But the one my grandma had, she used it forever, for years. And they taste just amazing. They're just so different. She used to cook this, because she grows sugarcane, and she used to cook this sugarcane water for us every Saturday. Imagine from your own garden to your plates and pots.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
And I think those soup were the best, because Cantonese, they're very particular about their soup. You must have soup every day.
All right.
So because of that, I think I also influenced my children to love soup. My kids, they love soup. They can take all kinds of herbal soup and, anything. They just miss. And every time if I start cooking something, they say, Mama is in the kitchen. Yay, because they know I will bring something back, from my childhood. During the COVID, I was trying to change, the home environment to, a negative sort of energy to more positive. So I started cooking because I couldn't sell my clothes. So I said, you know what? I have all these amazing clothes. Okay, Lala, let's do something. Every day we set up our camera and everything and we do a different dish. And true enough, I did that. And I don't know for how many days, but it was everyday routine.
I remember that because the first thing I was like, these people crazy. I was like, these people crazy. They're wearing designer clothes, which are very nice, and cooking. These people crazy. I was like, she's going to do it one time. But she kept on doing it. And I was really impressed because hell, if COVID is not going to give you a runway. Yeah, I was watching it. So it's I was like, yeah.
You must be laughing. Oh my God, what is she cooking? Why is she cooking like that? Why is she?
No, but I love how it was it was in your kitchen, your house kitchen, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And the setup was, I think you probably had a ring light or something, and then it was super simple, nothing super fancy.
So it was a family affair kind of thing. So Lala is my sous chef and also my model dressing up. At 2:00 she'll be starting, Mama, what are we wearing today? What makeup are we going to do? What are we cooking today? And all that
so
stuff.
what are we cooking is a third question.
Yeah, and then 3:00 we will set up, Mika will set up the lighting, and the camera. I said, okay, I think it's cool, And then Maya will be sitting there waiting. Oh, Mama, I want to, she's the tasting master, she will be tasting for us. So that's how we started doing, and then it was fun. And I brought back a lot of old recipes, from my grandmas, my kids' German side grandmas, and, and sharing with everyone. And I had fans consider that, couldn't sell clothes, but I was wearing clothes. I'm kind of indirect selling,
Yeah.
And,
no, I was going to say, if COVID is not going to give you a runway, girl, you just make your own runway.
Exactly. So I did dress up and, we tried to be crazy. Sweating all the time in our clothes because kitchen, right? You're cooking.
These people crazy.
Yeah, but it was fun. So we look forward to do that every day. And actually, she missed it. She wanted to do it again. She's like, Mama, when are we gonna do? But it was really amazing. I have friends telling me that, oh my God, I remember my grandma used to cook this dish. I'm so going to follow your recipe and, try to cook it,
Yeah.
And,
Maybe tell us one of
things
these
like
dishes.
that.
One of these dishes that you really brought
For
back.
example, like tong sui, like a lot of people love eating it, but you can't really find in many stores, right? And during COVID, you can't really buy anywhere.
So for listeners, tong sui literally translates to sugar water.
Okay,
Or dessert.
sugar water, dessert. And I love cooking tong sui. I did about 2 or 3 different types that my grandma used to cook, I tried the original, like Nyonya style bobo cha-cha.
Okay.
So bobo cha-cha basically has ingredients like, the yam, the sweet potato, and then the chewy stuff.
Yeah.
And I make
Usually
the
it's from
traditional way.
tapioca flour,
That basically I use tapioca and we put, natural coloring, pandan and all that, and we make the chewy things. It was fascinating for the kids.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh my God, it's so, it's like half see-through, transparent. It's like, gummy bear kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then it's in the soup, right?
Yeah.
And I try to follow a very traditional way, like you steam them first and so on. Because what my grandma used to do is probably she just, to save time, to just dump everything into like one pot and cook, right? So, but I try to make it very traditional,
Yeah.
steam and so on. But that, just inspire the children to learn how to cook as well. Because they will be like sitting there watching me, like, oh, wow, okay. And Lala is like, she knows everything, she look at it, she knows exactly what ingredients we have. And if she doesn't understand the spices, she will ask first and all that. So I think it's a good way to inspire the younger generations to really start learning about the culture, and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think also this is a good point where a lot of people always say that maybe Chinese food or Asian food is just like a mix of everything or something that's all boiled. Like when you think of soup, everything is boiled, but there's a technique to it and there's a certain respect to it. So like bubu cha-cha is something that is very close to my heart as well. Bubu cha-cha is like a sweet dessert broth, and some people actually finish it with coconut milk. It's very fragrant. But actually, when you talk about the yams that we have different types of yams that we put inside, and actually different yams have different cooking times, and actually you steam it at different rates so that when you get it in the soup, right, a good if you want to get married to someone who is like Babang Yoyo or Chinese, if you make good bubur cha-cha, the yams should not be mushy. It should be just cooked. Because sometimes you use purple yams, right? And the reason why sometimes the bubur cha-cha, the whole bubur cha-cha become purple is because you overcook it and so it's bleeding into the soup. So there's actually a technique to it and there's so much respect to the ingredients that is what Chinese people bring to food and Nyonya people bring to food and Malaysian food culture is there. But I think that's why I want to have this show because it shows actually, food is not just everything mixed together or it's not just soup, it's not everything that's just boiled. There's like a technique to it and there's
also story behind it.
Do you know the story behind bubu cha-cha?
Not quite, but I think they always have story. For example, like in Stelwan, there are people who are Teochew, right?
So like we're talking about different clans because Chinese people in China it's so big, right? So different.
Fukzhou.
Fuzhou, yeah, okay.
So basically, they eat this misua. It's a kind of noodle, the soft noodle, with the red yeast, ginger wine,
yes.
chicken soup.
Yeah.
So, and on wedding days, they actually will have it.
Oh.
With egg. So I still remember that because my auntie got married to my uncle who is a Fuzhou background, right? And I remember until today, I was so young, but I still remember that was my first time having this red yeast soup, at a wedding, like when they damta, like tea ceremony. Before the tea ceremony, they serve you this, right? With the egg. I was like, oh my God, what is this? I love it. And as a kid, you don't know it actually has got alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And it's rice wine. But I fell in love. And since that I know somewhere selling these, I will look for it. So it's actually a celebration kind of, soup. You can get it in Pudu. There's one store selling.
I will need to look for this. So, because like in general, the ginger wine chicken soup kind of thing usually uses like the rice wine, which is like white in color. Not white, I would say like yellowish in color,
yes.
Right? So this red one, if you're not used to it, I think you can Google it. There are I've seen recipes of it, but my first impression was like, whoa, it's different.
It's very good. It tastes
red.
really good. And they put red yeast,
Yeah, and it's red because of the red yeast, right?
Yeah, and it's just amazing.
So tell us about Zamcha.
So Zamcha is a tea ceremony where usually it happens Chinese New Year on the first day. But a lot of people actually serve tea now in the hotel.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody, the whole family will be there. And then you kneel down to your parents first, and then, they will give you all the gold jewelry and, ang pao, like red packet with money and stuff like that, and your family, uncle and all that. You need to pay them the respect, and you give them tea, and you get all these, in return. Then when it's your turn, the groom and the bride, right, they get the younger generations to kneel down and give them tea. And that's when they give them the ang pao as well. Zhengcha means it's like giving tea, right? You present a tea to someone. So it can also happen on Chinese New Year, which I actually started a few years ago, making my children. Actually, many years ago, I have started doing internally in my house, like on Chinese New Year Day. If you don't kneel down, give me tea and say something nice, then you're not getting your red packet money. But last few years, I've decided I should do it together with my parents. That was before my father passed away about a year and a half ago. I started doing that on the first day of Chinese New Year. Usually I spend the whole day with my parents and my sisters and brothers. So I started making my children do that to all the uncles and aunties.
What was the initial reaction? So, if for people who don't know, I know this family because obviously, like I said, Max used to be my student in my cooking school for a good 3 years. I knew him when he was a little boy, and he actually is on the cover of my kids' cooking book, and I still have it. So they actually have a mixed cultural background. So Mel is Chinese Malaysian, and then their father, biological father, was German, right?
Yes.
German. So it's like they're mixed German, and they have that cultural mix. So how did they react to that? That chamcha, like, you've got to kneel down.
They just want money. They don't care. They would do anything for money.
That's the Chinese side, no?
Yeah, which is good though. I think, no, the father also in finance, so probably they have that, But basically, they feel that they had to do it because of me saying so, but also because they are, in a way, they want to respect, that is the culture, right? And they ask me, why do we have to do that? I say, well, you want your money? You have to do it. So since then, they never ask again. Why? But actually, the opposite side, like my brothers, sisters, they were not used to it. They say, no need lah, no need so mafan lah, so difficult, like I'm shy, I don't want to do this, but I made them do it. I say no. Otherwise, you don't give them ang pao. So I guess so far it's good. Like they have been doing it, and I told them that, I told my mom we should follow this kind of traditions because they used to do it with, their elderly as well. So why not us?
Yeah, and I think
otherwise we are losing all the practice.
the word chamcha is basically translates to serving tea, but I think it's a serving of respect.
Yes,
right?
it's more respect because you have to kneel down to serve the tea and not just like, here, come, your tea. Not like that. So I think it's nice. They get paid to do it, so why not?
But I feel that it's a very humbling experience as well. And I think a lot of cultures, whether it's the Malay culture, Indian culture, or the Chinese culture, all Asian cultures, I realize that whenever we pray, we tend to bring ourselves closer to the ground. So I feel like this practice of kneeling and giving respect to your elders is something that's very humbling.
No, I think because how I get inspired as well, because I've seen some really traditional Chinese family, they do this, like some of my clients or friends. And also I every Raya, I see how my friends, my Muslim friends, they actually really kneel down and they kiss the hand of the elderly and they ask for forgiveness and all that. I think this is just so beautiful. And for me, like, why can't we continue that as well? Why can't we do that? And although we don't ask for forgiveness, but at least, while they are still around, the elderly, we give them tea.
And you're supposed to wish well things, right?
Yeah, you have to say a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish you healthy. First thing, healthy. And then, or the first thing will be like, 恭喜發財 means prosperous, like a lot of money for you, may you have a lot of luck and money, healthy. And a lot of time we say a lot of silly things as well. Like, I wish you beautiful all the time, I slim this year and all that stuff,
Ronnie Chang actually said it like, we are the only community, the Chinese community all around the world for the New Year is, I wish you money.
Yeah.
With the only, I wish you money, I wish you luck, right?
Even during Chinese New Year, the biggest holiday for Chinese people, Chinese New Year, when we see each other during Chinese New Year, the way we greet each other is we say, 恭喜發財 or 恭喜發財 in Cantonese. I'm sure you've heard that, at least peripherally, right? 恭喜发财,恭喜发财.恭喜发财 means hope you get rich. That's not Happy New Year. Do you understand? The go-to phrase during Chinese New Year isn't, hey, Happy New Year. It's, yo, hope you get rich.
But yeah, the other thing was, the thing that came to my mind was, if it's a lady, you've got to say, I wish you eternal youth or beauty.
Yes, beauty. 青春美麗.
We're talking a lot about Chinese New Year as well, right? Paint me a picture of Chinese New Year meal for you.
I think for Chinese, it's very important when you have a reunion, especially for Chinese New Year, you always have to have the fish. Because fish means 年年有餘, means every year you have the... Because Chinese is very particular about the sound. The words must sound great, must sound like certain thing, you know. Why the number 8 become a very auspicious number?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like it's fat and fat. The Chinese is very particular about the sound of it. So yu, fish, means yu. Yu means extra. So every year you have extra money. So then you have to have the prawns, shrimps. It says ha. Ha is like, siu ha ha. It's like, you laugh all the time. It's like,
Oh, there's actually a word. I always thought ha sounds like the laughter. Ha 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 ha.
siu ha ha, ha ha ha.
Ha 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 comes
It's
from
the
there.
same thing. And so that's why we have the ha. So you have to have prawns, you have to have fish. If you eat pork, you know, you have that you know, like that roasted pork
Suckling
thing.
pig. Like
Yeah.
that,
So and you see them using that to pray as well. You see in some goldsmith store for wedding, especially in Hong Kong, Cantonese, they have this pig with a lot of babies. When you give to someone for wedding, it means that you make a lot of babies. You know, fertility, yes. So it's important as well.
I didn't know that.
So it's the same thing. The sound of it has to also link to whatever. But that also depending what dialect you are. But mainly, I think it's following the Cantonese sound. So a lot of things like, you know, you eat tong yun, the glutinous rice bowl. That is also another meaning that you grow, you know, 1 year, you know, older. And it's a good thing. I mean, we don't like to grow 1 year older, but it's a good thing. Then you also eat, Chinese New Year, you eat this lin go. You know, that sticky rice thing.
Yeah.
So every Asian culture has this sticky rice, but in a different version. Malaysia has this with the sugar, right? The brown sugar. And you have to steam it or you deep fry it. Deep fry it and you slice it, you deep fry it with sweet potato and yam and so on. In Korea, they have the rice cake, which is for their New Year.
New Year, yeah.
And you have also other culture which has their own version of sticky rice.
Yeah.
So basically, this one, it says lin go, like lin, like year. Go is high, you know, tall. So every year you go higher and higher and higher. So it also represents like, you know, your rank, like either your work or your physical, I think, and so on. So, and all your education, you know, you go better and better. You get, you know, your A's, you know, and so on. So I think it's a practice or it's a culture that we practice. And I still buy this traditional lin go, you know, every year, like with the, you know, with the banana leaf wrapping around it and all that. I don't buy the one in the plastic container. I think it's just so beautiful. At one time, I was thinking, I should do this cooking.
It takes forever. That's what I was going to say.
Oh
It takes
my God,
forever.
but no, it will take a long time.
It takes forever to cook. So the only way to cook it faster is like, it's also like the Malay culture also has something like this, like dodol.
Yeah.
It takes forever. We use a pressure cooker, but it's still not the same thing. We had an interview with someone else who's a chef, and he says actually in Asia, what really unites us is rice.
Yes.
And how you describe this glutinous rice, which is a type of rice as well, and the way we have it all around Asia, I think it is a point of unification of our culture and how it is.
Yeah, everybody have their own versions.
And Chinese New Year, my mom said every Chinese New Year, you must make sure there's a barrel of rice.
Must be full. Yes. And usually we put a red paper on the rice container. That's what I do every year as well.
Same.
And I tell my kids, you have to do it. It says moon, means full. So you have to make sure your rice container is always full on the first, during Chinese New Year, especially on the first day. And you're not allowed to sweep the floor.
Yeah.
No broom, no mop.
Because?
Because you sweep away all your good luck on the first day. So first day, I always tell my helpers and my kids, no sweeping the floor.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What if you vacuum? Because, I'm always with children, right?
I don't allow to,
I see, this kid told me, if you vacuum, the dirt or whatever you think that represents usually like luck or your gold, right? So he says to me, Abang Brian, the gold is still in the vacuum. The dirt is still in the vacuum, which is still in the house, technically. So I'm like...
Are you going to throw away?
He said, don't throw it away. What if you don't throw it away? It's still in the house. And I'm like, So I feel that this is just a guidance, because I think behind all these traditions, there's some sort of significance, a certain logic to it. So it's like, especially on the first day of Chinese New Year for me, the reason why you cannot sweep or clean is because you've got to do it before. Yes. The first day is where you have relatives coming, everyone coming. You don't want to be cleaning in front of everyone else.
Yes.
I think that's the logic to it. So like...
But Chinese has a lot of these different belief and so on. But also the first, the reunion, for example, the reunion dinner.
What is the reunion dinner?
The eve of Chinese New Year. So a reunion, you have your whole family to the parents' house or the grandparents' house, and you have a big dinner where you have all these important ingredients, the fish, the prawns, and so on and so forth. And you have to leave some food. You cannot finish all.
Okay, this is something I don't know.
Yeah, and you leave, or even the first day reunion dinner, or breakfast, or lunch, you leave some behind for the next day. Because it means every year you have extra money leaving behind. The eve and the first day of Chinese Year, you must refill your rice bowl. Even though you are full, you have to refill just a spoon or whatever is considered refill. So meaning you always have add-on money. It's all about money. Chinese is all about money,
That is true.
No, I mean, so we are very money-minded. But that's a good thing, because it will encourage the children to think like, oh yeah, it's true, I will live more, I will have more. So they will think, oh mama, what if I eat more rice? If I put a whole full bowl, at the refill, I said, good, then you will have a lot of money in the future. So that way, I think it's an encouragement. Yeah. I believe the olden days is an encouragement for the children or the younger one to eat more.
Yeah. I think it's like they want to make sure that we eat well, number one. Number two, also, I think for me, I didn't know that this culture existed or this thing existed. It probably did, but because in Chinese New Year, in my family, there's always leftover because we always cook a lot. Yeah. And so we don't think about making sure there's extra. So maybe my grandma was thinking of that. We didn't think of that. And then because Chinese New Year food is so good, I would always add on myself without even having anyone to tell me. So I guess.
So you always have a lot left over. And on the second day, I don't know if you practice that. Yeah. On the second day, we always look forward to the second day because you have a lot left over, right? And all of that will be into one big pot. And, with the sour, the asam keping, tamarind and, everything is in there. So it's like with dry chilies and so on. And I love cooking that because it just reminds me of my childhood. And my kids love it because it's appetizing, And so second day, that's what happened. So normally a lot of household, you will see them cooking this. Everybody will put everything inside. So we always cook a lot because the leftover food is the best to cook this.
And she is making me tear up because this is bringing back all the memories and I think being abroad, one of the first things I always cook when I get back is of course when we get back we want to eat all the Malaysian food, right? So you have all this roast chicken and chicken rice and whatever not. And we have extra, and the one thing that my mom is a small eater, right? We try to be healthy, whatever. But the one thing my mom always have bowls of is whenever I cook chai buay. Hokkien, that's why I call it chai buay. And it brings back all these memories where the Chinese New Year thing, it's not second day, after a few days when you have a lot of things. And when Mel is talking at it and she's looking at me, I'm looking away because I can feel the emotions that is coming from her because we lived through this and then now I'm crying and I'm supposed to be hosting this show. Aww. Okay, so let's move on. But yeah, this is the thing that we want for the show. For people to actually realize that we are all the same, right? We gather around food because food represents so much for us. And yes, culture is important, but why culture is important? Because it's our identity, it's who we are.
I was very lucky because I grew up with my grandma and my grandma's house for at least 15 years. So I learned a lot of, I watch her cooking and I find it impressive, like how she can prepare, certain dishes. So like they look so easy. After she passed away, when I was studying in Canada also, if you are abroad, especially like you say, when you are abroad, you want to eat certain flavors, right? And you can't find it. You have to cook it yourself. So that was how I remember, okay, I remember my grandma used this and that. And then, and I will taste it. And because I think I am creative enough in what I do, I can kind of visualize what is like the flavor that were in there, they were added. And then I kind of put that into a certain dish. And I cook a lot in Canada when I was there. And I let all my like Singaporean friend, my Taiwanese friend to try and all that. It helps us to be reminded our background. And also we put people together. It connect people together.
And I think the flavors all vary a lot. And I hate it when people put people in a box. So for example, when you say Chinese food is Chinese food, I'm like, no. Chinese food is not Chinese food. There's so many types of variations of Chinese food.
There are a lot of story in there. Every gathering, especially for Chinese New Year, you will have this vegetarian dish that has got this black hair in there.
Oh yeah, it's not black hair. Don't tell me. Like now my American family is gonna be like, they eat hair. So it's
No, it's called fat choy.
Yeah.
So tau fat. So it means hair. It's prosperous. Again, Chinese is all about the sound of it. If your veggie or your kind of ingredients has a great tone to it, it sounds great. It sounds prosperous. It sounds good health and beauty. They will eat it.
Yes, and so it's something edible. It's not hair. Let me clarify, it's not hair. It looks like hair, but it's a kind of fungus, edible fungus like mushrooms, seaweeds and all. Like it's something that we have been eating for generations. So people who talk about sustainability now, everyone's like, oh, seaweed this, seaweed that. I'm like, dude, we people have been eating it for the longest time and it's really good for you. But now we're talking all this, right? Now, you have 4 children.
4
of them, right? How important is it for you that your children inherit this culinary heritage from you?
I always tell my kids, I remind them that you are half Chinese, you're half German. You have to learn both. You have to appreciate who you are. I have heard like some bullies in school, call them like guai lo, like means white people, means ghost, white ghost. And I say, well, proudly tell them that, yes, I speak German. So why not? So I make sure they go to Chinese school when they were young. So like Max is the only one who is in German school now. That's when he left your school. Before he turned 12, I sent him to Germany.
Right.
And I told him that it's time you go there and try to spend time with your grandma and, and learn the culture. He wasn't very pleased about it because then, he has no more nanny. He, has no more driver to send him to school. Yeah. He had to basically cycle to school every day or walk to school. And also, clean the room and cook himself and so on. But that was probably one of the best, that was what he told me, one of the best experience for him. And he had changed totally when he came back after a year. He has learned to be, like German, very systematic, as well as very independent. He will plan his schedule every day. I had never worried about him. While he was young, when he was in Chinese school, he used to hide his homework and throw away all his homework. I used to do his homework. Yeah. Sorry, school, teachers. I used to pretend that I could send him because he fell asleep at 11 p.m., still doing homework. Yeah. And still trying to fit.
No, but to give this context, like Chinese schools, I'm so sorry to say this, but like Chinese schools in Malaysia gives a lot of homework, and I'm talking a lot of homework, a lot of repetitive kind of things for them to do. And I mean, that's the character of Max that I see even in class. So like the Asian side of us is we're very tolerant, we're very like everything goes. Yeah. So I remember in one time in class, I think we were trying, because like cooking is also very systematic, right? It helps children to be systematic as well. And so we have like certain ingredients we have to put. I don't remember what it was, what recipe it was. And I was like, hey, what did I say? Like do this. And he said, Abang Brian, can lah. can lah, okay lah, like let's just, it's okay. And I'm like, no, do it again.
No, so that was him. But then after that, when he came back, it was just totally changed.
Yeah, okay.
His grandma was trying to cook a different German dish every day.
Wow.
Just to show him the culture. What is German food about? Because everybody know Max love eating.
Yes, he does.
That's why he attends school. He thought he could be a chef so that he can eat all the time.
Yeah.
But then after he started school and working intern in a restaurant, he realized, okay, chef has no time to eat.
No. I can tell you.
But he still loved cooking. He still loved his food. That actually was amazing. He has his Chinese side growing up here, but he also learned the German side of it. And I think it's very important for mixed culture kids. I think they should learn both sides of the culture. And sometimes I was like asking, some of my, no offense, but some other culture friends, the kids, they speak fluent English, but not even a single word in their own culture or in their own
original
heritage,
language.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, what is your mother tongue? Okay, this and this, but I don't speak it. I felt a bit unfair to the child. I think they should learn. They should learn at least the simple. Like I make sure my kids learn Mandarin. I don't speak Cantonese to them, but I speak Cantonese to all my friends. And so they listen. And because they have a Mandarin background, they understand everything we say. It's just that they refuse to speak the Cantonese, which I also felt a bit sorry for them. I could have speak Cantonese only. But to learn Chinese, you have to learn Mandarin first.
That is true.
Because Cantonese has
root,
no
right?
writing to it.
Oh!
Some words cannot be written.
I didn't know that.
No.
Oh.
Hong Kong, they have their own way of writing their Cantonese.
Oh.
They have words to it.
Okay.
But we don't learn that here.
Okay.
So if you want to learn Chinese, you have to learn Mandarin first.
Right.
Mandarin is the key to everything, to
Right.
all the dialects. While I'm still around, I teach them whatever I could. Like I bring them to Chinatown, I bring them to, like Chinese stores, I bring them to temple. I just want them to learn how people pray, how people do this and that. It doesn't mean that I'm stopping them from, being who they are as well. I told them I'm not baptizing you all. You have to find your own roots, whichever religion you are going into.
And being a mother, has that helped you also connect with your own roots?
Yes, very much. I mean, once you became a mother, you realize that what your grandma and your mom had to go through when they were, younger and raising us and so on. And I have always been very traditional. I think because I grew up with my grandma. Okay. And she is telling me, sometimes she doesn't speak to me like normal. She tell me all these Chinese proverbs, like educating us in Chinese proverbs. So it makes you think.
Like idioms, like still water runs deep, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So my grandma used to speak to us like this. Even though she wasn't educated in school, that was how she teach us. She always tell us, for example, your palm, it has the same meat as the back of your hand. So it means that, no matter who you are the same. You run the same blood. I mean, it has a meaning to it. I mean, these are values from the Chinese culture. And she always tried to teach me that way. I get inspired a lot by her. And I became a bit more traditional. Like I make sure, I'm not superstitious, like following feng shui and all that. My grandma wasn't like that. Like, unlike my mom is very much into feng shui.
Yeah.
She will do calculation. Okay, tomorrow, your school holiday, you cannot go, because it's very bad for you,
Wow.
Your chi is not good, I'm like, okay, but I already planned.
Yeah.
Right? She would do this kind of thing to us. But where else my grandma is more chill. She follow tradition like the Chinese New Year, must eat this and that, but she's not like superstitious,
Yeah. I think feng shui and traditions and values are a bit different. I think feng shui is just a different thing altogether.
But some people put them all together.
I think everyone's allowed their own opinions and whatever not, but I think I'm from the same camp as you, that our values is our values and our traditions are our traditions. So the point of this is that in terms of your children themselves, so do you think they're embracing the culture? How is their reaction like?
I think the fact that they grow up in Malaysia, surrounded by all these amazing different cultures and practice, they kind of follow the flow, and I think they have adapted to what or how it should be. For example, even for Raya, when we go open houses, I make sure they salam. Yes, we are not Muslim, but I think it's a respect that we also try to follow. I make them dress up, in baju kurung or baju Melayu. So I think it's just amazing. Like they will ask, oh, why are they doing this? So they will question. But also nowadays, kids are very smart. They just Google. So they will just search, why is it like that?
I think this is something that I really want to explain to people also, where Malaysia is such a country where you find it weird because in certain countries, when you wear or don outfits that come from another culture, it can be called cultural appropriation. And I feel that it is not about making fun of another culture or whatever. I think it's the way we do it, it's embracing someone else's culture, celebrating it, and we just want to be part of it. And I think what you say is very true. It's not like we are just putting it on. We actually want to know what it means, right?
Yep.
So I think that is fine, and I've obviously do not wear my outfit for a Halloween costume. Fine. That I think is disrespectful, but to be in celebrating, like, let's say, for example, the Lunar New Year, right? So it's usually celebrated by the Chinese community. I think if the Muslims join us, the Malays join us, or the Indians, whoever wants to join us, it's fine, right? It's really up to you, and it's not forced, right? Yep. And I think also put it out there because I salam a lot. And I think salam is not even religious to me. It's a sign of respect, and I think it comes back to your own intention.
I think so. I don't think it's a offense. I mean, I think some people, because of social media, things has sometimes become a bit sensitive when you come to, talk about religion or clothing, especially traditional clothing. For me, I mean, a lot of people dress in a cheongsam and during Halloween and make themselves look like a,
Ghost.
like a zombie or ghost.
Yeah.
We don't feel like it's an offense, but it's true because in Hong Kong, our younger days, we watch all these movies like Gyeongsi, the jumping one, and then they put the yellow, prayer thing on the forehead. I don't see that kind of movie anymore.
But yeah, I think it's whenever I see all this, it's like, it's not even someone making fun of my culture. It's like, hey, this is my culture. Are you helping me promote it? Thank you. So you're celebrating my culture. So I really feel that's why I think this kind of shows are very important. And one of the reasons also is to help people embrace culture, right? And so understand it, and like, we're different, and it's okay to be different, right? It's so interesting to understand where it comes from.
Exactly.
So obviously, because you're a fashion designer, I have to ask you at least one fashion-related question. But like, I feel like I'm sitting with my auntie or like my mom's sisters. Like this conversation, all my questions went out the door because I really felt like I'm just talking to someone from my family. Like, thank you so much for that. But I need to ask you at least one fashion question. What trends do you see or do you foresee in fashion that might help promote cultural fusion or cultural fusion? What do you think of cultural fusion? Do you think it's important?
Let's just talk about Malaysian designers. All of us do embrace each other's culture. I make sure I promote Chinese New Year clothing from year end onwards. And I always mix the culture together. I always put like some Papua Nyonya influence and using batik in my cheongsam and all that. I think it's amazing that we can mix all these cultural elements together. And a lot of time, I also use like sari fabric to make certain things, for Chinese New Year as well, and so on and so forth. And then for Raya, for the Ramadan celebration, I also make the collection. So for me, and I've seen a lot of Malay designers, they started making their Chinese New Year Lunar collection. So I think it's amazing that everyone, appreciate each other, celebrations and try to, create something to encourage more people to wear traditional clothing. And even though, yes, a lot of time they are more like modernized, but it's still the elements of the Mandarin collar, the elements of, the baju kurung or the kebaya, Papua Nyonya kebaya look is there and so on. It's just beautiful. I think we do love each other. We do love, in our Malaysia, our people do love each other. People do help each other, and for even Deepawali, you can see a lot of people, even Malay, even if you're, dressed in a very modest way, they still would wear the sari with like a shirt inside or, a long sleeve, something inside to to celebrate together.
Because the Malays, who are in general Muslims, they do have to cover up in certain
Yes.
way, and obviously the sari is quite revealing. So what they do is that they wear like inner wear
Yeah.
or whatever too.
I do
think
that
that's
too.
really
I mean,
cool.
I would, wear with the shirts or something. I mean, I'm not trying to change the look.
Yeah, because I'm gonna just, for the sake of argument here, because it's the same with food. There is a lot of debate around fusionizing food because there's a question of authenticity. So how do we balance the fact that yes, we are embracing other people's culture and designs and whatever not, but will there be a day where the original just goes missing?
I think it won't go missing. I mean, when you want to design a collection that is inspired by a certain culture, you will look back to the very, very old picture. That's what I do. I look back to the history and I study about it. Why do they use this material? Why do they do this cutting? So it makes people go back and do their research and study. So, I'm sure the young generation is the same. And how can I interpret it into my own signature? So first you need to do your research. First you need to study first. Then only you can do your fusion thing. Correct? So you still have to learn about it. And then you can tell the story. The story continue to the next and next. And there's no harm to do a fusion line. There's no harm to be inspired and do your own interpretation. And you have to know the history before you can actually interpret. So for me, yes, some people may be sensitive about it. Especially I think the older generation may feel that it's offensive, right? But for me, how do you want the young generation, for example, clothing, to embrace it, to continue, to sustain the culture, to sustain the elements? You have to follow, the flow. You have to follow the trend. You have to follow what is current. Otherwise, they won't wear it. Like, samfu is supposed to be big, supposed to be loose. There are people who make that, but there are also people who make like super crop samfu, right? And that's what the young gen like. And you want them to wear, you have to be open-minded about it.
Whatever you just said makes so much. I'm smiling so much because whatever you're saying, I understand it from the food angle. It's exactly the same.
It's the same. You want them to eat.
It's the ingredients, it's the sauce, the history. It's exactly the same.
Honestly, the ingredients can be exactly the same. But how you plate it, right? How you decorate, how you garnish it, to make the young generation to say that, oh my God, I want to try that. So many omakase now, they use very traditional way, traditional cooking, traditional technique and ingredients. But they will plate it in a way that it makes you feel like, wow, that's very modern. That's very current. And I want to eat it. And it still tastes exactly the same. It's just that, it has been modified in a way.
Very wise words.
I used Maya artwork 2 years ago. I did a couture collection. That collection was to inspire the younger generations to love the Malaysian crafts and the heritage that we have. The batik, the songket weaving, the tenun, the rattan weaving and all that. And it was like right after COVID. And I want to be able to support, the craftsmen as well. And I want to, the young generation to understand that, hey, we have very rich culture. We have amazing craftsmen. You have to sustain that art, And so I use Maya artwork, very doodle and modern and contemporary. And I challenged Tanuti, the weavers in Sarawak. Tanuti is an organization where they support, young, they train young girls to weave. And I challenged them, instead of doing a very traditional motif, can you do using Maya artwork and using very traditional songket weaving to make this piece? And they made it. People appreciate that piece because it's probably the only very modern and contemporary songket ever made. Very long, and no one will do such modern pieces. Not only one, we actually make a few. But I also heard maybe one or two whisperer out there, you are not doing a traditional motif. You're destroying the culture. You're destroying the craft, I don't think so. This girl who weave, they love it. They are young and they want to do new things. Every day it's already in them. You know, the program is already in them, how to weave the traditional craft. But I'm enriching her and inspiring her to do more stuff. Because when you make a modern piece, the younger generation may think, oh my God, it can be made that way. I want to wear it. Because the young generation may think songket is only for sampin, it's only for wedding, it's only for royalty when they do their big weddings, you know. Yeah. It's not just that. You can make a very modern piece, a very modern art piece, you know, and wear it again, like on them, to make them look like, oh, I'm cool in songket too.
Okay, so this is the Sambal Survey. Basically, there is 3 sambals in front of us. One of it is cooked by me, and we will ask our guest to taste and describe to us what she tastes, and she will pick her favorite, of which we will not know who made what. If you want to know, you've got to catch our YouTube video. We have a YouTube video, and you can only find out the answer whether my sambal reigns supreme. So, to be really fair, I can already see which is my sambal. I'm going to blindfold myself, and Melinda is going to help me. Okay, so this one is very spicy. This is very spicy.
Well, it's okay.
To me, it's a bit...
It's sweet.
I like this a lot. Yeah, it's sweet.
I can taste the prawn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Shall we try the second one?
Yeah, let's try the second one.
Why this sambal has a bit of like herbal taste?
Yeah, almost like... I don't know, it tastes like... I think they didn't... I don't know. It's like maybe they used some fresh...
It's like tong quai like that.
Tong quai. I taste a little bit like brinjal, but yeah, tong quai actually has that herby.
Okay, next one.
The last one.
The last one.
Just to let you know, one of the sambals is made by me. One of the sambals is made by one of the most famous food influencer in Malaysia, for which they sold like millions of sambal. I think you know that person. And then the last one is by a chain, a nasi lemak chain that is very popular in Malaysia.
I don't like this either.
I like the first one. And I think the first one is mine.
The first one I like it.
You like the first one, right? I think the first one is mine. Is the first one mine?
Wow.
If you want to find out the answer, please check out our YouTube video. Again, the link is in the description. All right, with that, I thank you very much, Melinda Looi.
Thank you very much.
To everyone else, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I will always advise everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. This has been another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. My name is Abang Brian.